I eat your
Secret
eats.
island clean, so clean. From the beach to the beach, so clean. No dirty of Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty of Jamaica, no dirty of Jamaica, no dirty of Jamaica, no dirty of Jamaica.
Yes. Monday afternoon. Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. This is Rebel Radio. And this time we want to bring you information and tell you what is happening in our neck of the woods. We have with us Menelik. Are you there? Hello? Menelik. I see I have him on hold, but I don't know what is happening here. Are you hearing me, Menelik? Menelik? Menelik, are you there now?
Yeah, man, I've been here.
Okay, all right.
6 minutes.
Yes. yes. Welcome to the show. Boy, the year start with some of the whole problems that we had last year. For example, I see where for the 2 weeks, for example, I see where 30 odd murders have been committed already. So although the number is less than this time last year, but we're still carrying the whole problems with us. What's on your agenda?
When you put it in perspective,
yes.
For the population that we have, that account for a nation at war.
Yes.
So we have to understand that much is desired of our policymakers to bring down this total. And we need a total overhaul of our social order within the nation.
Yes.
Even on the road, the mayhem increases. They just had 2 more accidents with 4 fatalities. So we have to understand that.
You mean today?
It's the overhaul.
Today you are talking about Menelik?
Huh?
That is what you are that accident occurred today?
Over the weekend.
Okay. Yes. The mad driving, the bad driving, the careless driving continues.
Yes.
Right. So it is, as you say, we need a complete overhaul in our thinking, in our policy making. We need to. In other words, we have to turn a new leaf. Because if we continue on the same page, we are going to get the same results that we got last year and the years before.
Well, as the motivational speaker said, if you keep on doing what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. Okay. And this is the predicament that we face.
Yes. So what's new on your agenda?
Well, we are basically now looking at our past heroes, heroines, what they have done, the black print that they have left for us, and why have we deviated from it? When we look at the works of the right, excellent Amy Jakes Garvey, who compiled the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey. These are things that when we don't have a copy of a philosophy and opinion in our schools, what are we saying to our nation?
Yes.
I recently visited some schools, and none of the schools have copies of the philosophy and opinion. And we have the Honorable Marcus Garvey as our first national hero. Yes. And he's an international hero because he's hailed all over the world.
Of course. And I recall Ronnie Twaits, when he was Minister of Education, he announced that Garvey's philosophy and opinions would be introduced to the schools. Well, as you just pointed out, that remain an announcement. It has not been implemented.
Empty talk,
Yeah.
unfulfilled promises.
Yes. Yes.
And to see that he made that statement while the son of our national hero was there, Dr. Julius Garvey, who met with him at the Ministry of Education. That's when he made that pronouncement.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
And it is still unfulfilled to today, even though he has demitted office. But he still can put something on the parliament floor to say, listen, we have to pass this bill to make it mandatory that we have the teachings of our national hero in our schools.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What we are faced with too is that too many empty promises, and I think this has to do with the fact that the politicians, they have summed up the electorate. What the electorate want to hear, what the electorate want. And so for example, do you remember when Damian Crawford was member of parliament out in East Rural St. Andrew, and he presented a platform where he was putting education as a very significant part of his work, his contribution. And a lot of people in that part of the constituency rejected his platform, And in other words, if you see how many people are anxious to, I call it sell their votes, because they will take some money, a little bit of money, and some material things for votes. And so the people, we need to be reconditioned in our thinking for us to understand that, listen, these gifts that are handed out on election time is not what we should vote for at all. We need to put our eggs, we need to vote for things which are more substantial and beneficial to.
Very much so.
Yes.
Very much so. And I'm glad that you touched on that subject, because the BUY election is still continuing. Yeah. But if we search our constitution, we will understand that it is against the law. Yes. They should never offer even a T-shirt or a cap to a voter.
Yes.
It is against the law.
Yes.
But we keep on breaking the law, and because the people are ignorant of the law, the judiciary has turned their backs against the laws, because all these elections should be declared null and void by the Governor General, because it goes against the grain of our Constitution.
Yes.
It is in the Constitution.
Okay.
But we are not upholding the Constitution, because why? Everybody is in their, the middle class and upper middle class is in their comfort zone.
Yes.
So it doesn't affect them.
No.
And the people in the inner city is not of the intellectual level that they understand the meaning of breaking the rules of the Constitution.
Yes. Yes.
And it continues because everybody is in their comfort zone, and it benefits those who give out for buying a vote from an individual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it will not stop until we challenge it in court to show that you should not But I want to bring also into sharp focus these companies that facilitate this wrong.
Mhm.
Because when an election is called, these big companies will bring out a $10 million war chest and give it to the parties.
Yes.
So they are complicit. They are complicit in the corruption.
Mhm. Mhm.
They have to stop giving. But why do they give? Because they await a kickback from the elected members of parliament.
Yes. Mhm.
So that cycle of corruption will not stop until the people rise up.
Yes, but Menelik, let's look at this. The the funds are necessary. In other words, the companies which fund elections, their claim is that they are assisting and aiding the democratic process. So they are providing funds which are necessary in order for to run the elections. Money is necessary. And they will say that, listen, this is our contribution. Because
to the corruption, to the continuation of the corruption.
Yes. But they are not funding the elections. They will say they are not funding, they not put up money for the parties to buy shirts and give away 5,000 to voters.
But they know it is happening.
Yes.
They know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They are not living in an isolated world which they are insulated from the reality.
Mm-hmm.
They know what is happening and they still continue to give the funds. I remember one year they had said they would not have given their funds, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the exact reason. I think it's when the satellite dish was taxed and it touched the corn of some of these big businessmen and upper crust people. Mm-hmm. And they said they would not participate in any of the elections.
Yes.
Some time ago it happened.
Yes.
So when it hurts them, they will react accordingly. But so long such things is happening to facilitate their growth, they will continue the corruption.
Yes.
They need to stop funding the parties.
Mm-hmm.
They need to read the Constitution and realize that it is against the Constitution. Yes. It is against the law. So mm-hmm. They are actually breaking the law.
Yes, they are assisting the process when they provide funds which are used to breach the law.
The Marcus Garvey Party, when we go before the Constitutional Court, this is one of the things that we are going to be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
The DUI election policy that is continuing. It must stop.
Of course, sir.
It goes against the Constitution.
Yes. What update our listeners and viewers on how far you have reached, the UNIA has reached in its proposal for St. Anne's Bay to be renamed Marcus Garvey City.
We're supposed to be meeting with the municipal council, and at that time, then we are going to put forward the proposal, table it actually, that they would now vote on it. Mm. And it is interesting that you mentioned that just recently the news came out that the government has acquired the birthplace of the Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Mm-hmm. The residents that were there have agreed to accept 2 houses in exchange for the property.
Yes, of course.
So we are moving forward and we are open. I just spoke with one of the international organizers of the UNIA in America. And they are ready to bring 1,000, 2,000 Black American tourists to Jamaica to visit Marcus Garvey's site.
Okay.
Because this is like the Black Mecca.
Yes.
Just as how the Muslim will have to go to Mecca. The Americans will come here because Marcus Messiah Garvey is our international hero.
Okay.
And his birthplace will be a museum site. We will have the shrine. We'll have one of the early churches that he attended when he was in Kingston. It's somewhere over in Southwest St. Andrew. So there's a lot of things that we have to do. And, you know, it will bring money to the country also. It will boost our tourism.
Of course it will. Of course it will. Of course it will. And the last time I spoke to the mayor, I know they had plans for to introduce a Garvey Square in St. Anne's Bay. They had a lot of plans. Yeah. Yes.
So we're taking it a step at a time, you know, step at a time.
Yes, yes. I late last year, there was the UNIA had a function up by Amy Jakes, up by Jakes Road, where function to update me on what has been done on Jakes Road. The community center has been renamed after Amy Jakes.
Okay, the community center has been named the Amy Jakes Garvey Community Center.
Yes.
In honor of Amy Jakes Garvey, who lived in that community.
Yes.
They still own, I think, 5 properties along Mountain View and Jakes Road area. And these are going to be developed also. Yeah. And basically, we are looking to put a museum, artifacts that we can use in the museum to also attract income coming into the community. Yes. The residents are really ecstatic. You know, they are thinking about printing up T-shirts, reprinting some of the old Marcus Garvey teachers books. There's some little booklets that we used to have in our schools.
Yes.
So the residents are really ecstatic about it, and they are looking how they can convert all of that into an income coming into the community to help to build the community.
All right.
Because, you know, that community was violence prone in years past. For the past year, there has been no war or conflicts taking place in the community, and we have to big up the citizens when they take the initiative to end the war and the silly loss of life.
Yes. Yes, of course. Yes. We have to commend them for that. We have to commend
very
them
much
for
so.
That. Yes. What else is happening on the what other big event ideas is on the calendar this year?
Well, as you know, we have started our farming projects that we are saying we should be able to feed ourselves. And one of the things we are actually looking at is the GMO. A lot of the foods that we are getting now are GMO, and you are eating it and don't know what will happen because it is still in basically an experimental stage. So we are setting up our farms, and we are hoping to produce good organic food for our people. We are setting up apiaries to have honey, and because some of the honey that is imported into the island is honey that is not organic. Honey that has been treated and has been heated is not organic. The heat kills a lot of the enzymes in the honey. So we are saying we want the natural organic honey that will give us all the properties that our body needs. So for health purposes.
Right.
So we are continuing that. We have 3 farms set up so far, and we are hoping by the end of this year we will have a farm in every parish.
Oh, yes, yes.
That's what we are aiming for.
Yes, that is very good news because that will go a far way in strengthening our ability to feed ourselves.
Of course. And
Yes,
we can remember Michael Manley way back in the 70s, started the program, plant what you eat and eat what you grow.
yes, of course. Yes, yes. And
So, because basically, when you look at it, we are consuming 75% of food that is imported.
yes,
75%.
yes.
We have to think about that.
Mhm.
When we look at the foreign exchange that is spent to bring that food into the country when we could have been self-sufficient in our foods.
Yes. Mhm. Yes, that is a very sore point right now. I don't hear much in terms of public policy how we intend the government, what are its plans to really address that issue, to reduce our spending 1 billion US. That's what we are spending on to import food, and we need to reduce that.
Of course.
Yes. So
And that billion, when you look at some of the hospitals, they are understaffed, under equipped. There's no bed space.
yes,
That money could have been better spent in other areas when you look in our educational system. That
so
money could have been better spent to provide for our schools. And the children are badly in need of certain books. They are not available.
mhm. Yes, of course. So
We have to think about it. Foreign exchange is very precious.
of course,
And we
and
need to start to earn more because if the more we develop our agricultural system, then we can do more exporting and earn from
that's
our agricultural products.
that is the way forward. That is the way we must look at it. We can't continue to find scarce foreign exchange to buy food when we could be planting some of that food right here at home. Right. Um, Now, where you sit, what do you what this is now we are in, this is 2023. So one of the things that we can look at, Menelik, is that 2023, um, this year is a year that you could see a lot of or the start of a lot of political organizing, because, for example, the local government elections is overdue. I wonder if we are going to be having that election this year. What are your thoughts?
Well, by law, it must be held this year because it has been postponed twice already.
Yes.
So they are now at the constitutional limit that it must be held.
Okay. Okay. So yes. So that means we should be having local elections this year.
This year.
Yes. Yes. And what are your thoughts on it anyway? In other words, is the PPP contesting?
Yes, we'll be contesting and we are mobilizing our people already. And as I said, from our in October when we had our election of officers, we have a full slate of officers in place. So we are now building our different communities now, and hopefully we might not be able to find the 200 and odd candidates, but hopefully we'll field a good slate.
Okay. And yes, some of our brothers, um, I know that brother Big Miguel Lawn was not feeling too well towards the end of the year. How is he doing now?
Yes, Mr. Lawn suffered a stroke, mild stroke, which had him in bed for 2 weeks. But the good news that he's out now and he has been, well, let me say he has regained his speech, he has regained mobility, and he can swallow on his own now because he was being fed intravenously. So the prognosis is excellent that he is moving forward.
Yes, yes.
Yes, he is healing well.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that. Really glad to hear that. And you know, boy, health and strength are these two of the factors that, as a matter of fact, life is so important. Once those of us who are alive, we have a lot going for us. And
yes, very much so.
Yes. And we should do whatever is possible in order to maintain life. And that is why, Menelik, we must put some focus on in order to get the government to address the crime problem in the country, because this too many lives. We are losing too many lives. Let us just don't hold your word there. Let us take a break.
Very much so.
Yeah,
very much so.
Yes, hold your word.
Amazing grace, how sweet, sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear and grace.
Yes. Welcome back to Rebel Radio. Yes, Menelik, as you were saying that we need the government need to put on a stern. We need some stern anti-crime plans, because I think this year is when we should decide that we don't want 1,000 murders this year at all.
Well, if we are really serious, we had what they call the Task Force on Crime, headed by the Honorable Lindsay Wolf.
Yes.
They produced 120 pages document. And at the end of that document, what they said, to fix crime, you need to fix the people's mind. And we are not tackling crime in the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
This is over 20 years ago,
Yes.
So if we had put proper social programs in place, proper educational programs in place, then we would turn crime around.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are trying to fight fire with fire, it is not going to work.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this task force, we had psychologists, we had philosophers, we had police officers. We had people from the insurance company. It's a wide cross section. We had church people on that task force. The full spectrum. And when they came up with the answer to crime, they said to fix crime, you have to fix the people's mind.
Okay.
It is the people and the mindset that create crime. Why you are not a criminal? Because you are not of that mindset.
No.
You have other options in life.
Yes.
A lot of our criminals are dropouts from school and they have no option. So they are inducted into a gang and they become a part of the crime syndicate.
Yes, sir.
When you give these people options, they have no need to go out and do crime. So they are tackling the crime problem in the incorrect manner.
Yes.
We need our social development commission to go into the different communities and develop social programs. We need the skills training centers to be up and running again. You understand me?
Yes.
So you can give these people the option to earn a living that they don't have to resort to crime.
Yes.
When you take away option, that is when you stagnate the progress of that individual.
Yes. And therefore they become available tools, available agents for the crime gangs.
Yes. My grandmother used to say, the devil find work for idle hands and idle minds.
Certainly.
So
yes.
They are tackling it the wrong way. And I want them to wise up and realize that buying more guns, equipping the army and the JCF with more weapons, bigger weapons, is not solving the problem.
Yes. So we have to we have to put some resources.
Yes.
Yes. It is. We know it is not a 1, 2, 3, but we have to start. And if we had started, yes,
because we did not get here overnight.
No, not at all.
It is by taking away the ability and options from these people to earn a decent living that you create the crime monster.
Yes, sir. Yes.
We need to change that. So we need our schools to be up and running in the inner city. We need the children in school. We want to ensure that the upward mobility going on to tertiary is also there. And we have to revisit the idea of free tertiary education.
Okay.
We have to revisit that idea.
Yes.
And it can be funded. Yeah. And I shouldn't use the word free. State funded.
Yes.
The funds are there.
Yes.
It is just that we lack the will. We can do it. As a nation, we can do it.
Yes, sir. We have to. This year, I believe this year should be an action year, and it must be action on all those fundamental areas.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. On all those fundamentals we have to get, and we have to make it correct.
Yes.
I think it's the governor that said there's nothing wrong with Jamaica that Jamaica can't fix. We can fix it. We don't even need no external assistance. Yeah. We have the expertise right here.
Yes, of course we have it. It is just, as you said, for us to focus and, decide that this is how we have to prioritize and decide that these are the things that we are going to be dealing with. And
Thank you.
And we decide.
Priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, priority 4. But our first priority is to bring down crime.
Yes, of course. We must do everything within our powers to address that matter this year. We have to. We cannot end this year.
Yeah, man.
With a high murder rate, a high crime rate. Because the other thing, you have been following the report from the child agency organization. Have you been following that report?
Yes, and that is another sore matter that we tend to look up to. And when you have someone coming into the island and he is giving donations to all these people, we do no background checks.
Yes.
And these people are left free to roam and do whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We need to understand that if someone comes here and they want to be a benefactor, let me check your credentials.
Yes.
So if you are squeaky clean, you can continue. But if there are any blotches on your character, especially towards pedophilia, then you cannot work with our children.
No, sir.
No way.
No. But the astonishing thing is that this gentleman report surfaced early that this is a man who should, in other words, he had some negative report on his record in the United States.
That is it.
So I am wondering, how did we allow him to be moving so close to these children? It's, something, it is one of the reasons why I think this happened. It's simple because of how we treat children under state care. That is my take on it. In other words, we don't the people who are in charge of these children who are under the care of the state, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. Mainly, do you remember what happened at Armadale in when the fire? You remember exactly how that fire started? They say that the inmates started the fire, but in the inquiry came out that fire was thrown inside the building where the girls were, and 7 girls were burned to death. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember the Armadale scene.
Right. So
unfortunate.
Yes. Over the years, is that the authority has paid scant. We don't focus. We don't pay any attention to these children at all.
Well, you see, accountability and a chain of command is what we don't adhere to.
Yes.
You understand? You have to be accountable, and if you are an elected official in whatever capacity, you must be accountable.
Of course. Of course, you ought to.
And there must be checks and balances within these organizations and within these systems.
Yes,
that
sir.
You can immediately find a flaw and pluck it out.
Yes. Menelik, something that I would like you to add on your list this year. Another set of people who we don't pay attention. The society don't pay attention to the elderly, right? Pensioners are suffering, Pensioners are suffering. You have pensioners who are getting $2,000 every fortnight. Now, we faced with the cost of living now. So can you imagine how they are managing, how they are coping with the cost of living?
I know.
Yeah.
I am a pensioner.
Yes.
I get $7,000 fortnightly.
Yes.
So if I didn't have another income stream, I would be perishing.
All right. Okay. Right?
So I know it. I
Yes.
am a living example.
Yes. And do you hear any talk about increase for pensioners?
No talk, no
No,
way.
no. That is not on the agenda at all. So these people are left on their own, right? They are swimming in shark infested waters, right?
And you know, now that you touched that point, I just want to bring in this quick point. I don't know how much longer we have.
Yeah.
But what we have, a lot of elders now, because of modern medicine, we have more people living in our 80s and 90s.
Yes.
And a lot of us trouble with the male with prostate problem and the female with bladder problem.
Yeah.
And we have to use bathrooms on a regular basis, more than the average person. We can't hold our urine.
Yeah.
And these business places, when you go to do business, especially our banks, you have to spend half hour to an hour in a bank. And there's no restroom for you to use. I am had to leave a bank, go across the road to use a washroom to come back over into the bank because the banks are not giving you access to their restroom.
All right. Okay. And this is a public place.
Thank you.
Yeah. This
Thank
is
you.
a public place, right?
So,
No,
the KSAMC need to look into that also because they are going against the building code. You're supposed to have 1 or 2 bathrooms there, restrooms for your customers.
Of course. Of course. And
Well, these business places are not doing it, and elders. A lady in one of the banks, I won't call the name of the bank, she pee herself in the bank.
yes,
In the bank.
yes.
Because they would not allow her to use the restroom.
No, look at that. These are issues that must be addressed. They are serving the public. Therefore, they must make available public sanitary conveniences.
Of course.
Right? They can't just but these are some of the things that the public officials, our elected officials, these are things that they should put on their agenda, but they are
Well,
not.
let me tell you, I brought it to the attention of 2 of our parliamentarians. One, a senior citizen, and the other, the member of parliament of the constituency. And they have done nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Nothing.
Yeah. Well, Menelik, I want to thank you this evening. And as you know, Rebel Radio is the place where we have to discuss these things because they might sound simple, but these are the things that affect the lives of people on a daily basis.
Very much so.
Yes. So, when they are left unattended, these are just problems. It just increase the problems. Want to thank you very much.
Give thanks, man. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Yes, sir. Respect.
Blessings.
Yes. This is Rebel Radio, and this is where we discuss these issues. We're going to go for a break. When we return, it will be Sure, Be Sure. That program that help us, provide us with information for us to put ourselves in a position to be sure, in a position where we can take care of emergencies. Stay tuned. This is Rebel Radio.
To do your will, and I will obey. I want to be your servant. On my knees, I pray. Lord, give me strength to carry on. Please lead the way, because I believe. Yes, I believe. Oh, I believe that all things are possible if you only believe. Only believe. Only believe. All things are possible if you only believe. Sitting at home, all alone, wondering what tomorrow may bring. He of little faith, dig deeper within. Healing the sick, he raised the dead. He walked on the sea. He worked miracles if you only believe. Only believe. Only believe. All things are possible if you only believe. Only believe. Only believe. All things are possible if you only believe. If you only believe. I do believe. Lord, I've got to say to Lord, I'm so tired of living a humble and country life. When you were attracted to the bright city lights, you had a lot of money to spend on pretty girls and lovely things. Just living it up as if you were a king. You had a whole lot of friends that you treated a vintage boy. But when the money ran out, they didn't stick around this time. There was a famine on the land, and you didn't really have a dime. So you had to go out to stay and feed with swine. But I will rise and go to my Father. I will rise and go to my Lord. Though I'm not worthy to be your son, but I could still be your servant. So I will rise and go.
It's a girl Shensia with a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shen Yangs, everyone wear a mask, let the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay you down flat. Nose and mouth, you fi cover up that. Oh, 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 sanitizer gets hospitalized. Fight the virus and fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you're no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause you test us, so you're not happy. You can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause you test us, so you're not happy. You can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Yeah. Keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Hey, hey. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive.
Tell me now. Leaving below in this old sinful world. Only a comfort I can't afford. Striving alone to face temptation so. Where do I go but to my Lord? Where do I go? Where do I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needing a friend, save me in the head. Where would I go but to my Lord? Life here is grand, with friends I love so deep. Comfort I get from God's own words. Yet when I face the chilling hand of death, where would I go but to my Lord? Where do I go? Where do I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needing a friend to guide me till the end. Where do I go but to my Lord? Leaving below in a whole sinful world, only a comfort I can't afford. Striving alone to face temptation so. Where do I go but to my Lord? Where do I go? Where do I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needing a friend to save me in the end. Where do I go but to my Lord? Nowhere to go. Where do I go? Tell me where do I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needed a friend to guide me in the head. Where do I go but to my Lord? Where do I go? Oh, where do I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needing a friend to save me in the head. Where do I go back to my Lord? Let me pray right now. Where do I go back to my Lord?
The station, artist station with the artist music.
Do I I go back to my Lord. I know where, no, but to my Lord. Where do I go back to my Lord? Father God, well, Lord, your love has made me strong, and for that, I'm all yours. Well, Lord of mercy, oh God, I'll never find the words, Lord, to tell you how I feel, dear God. Mere words could not explain. Yeah, gracious Lord, you held my life within your hand, created everything I had, taught me how to live again. Only you care when I needed a friend, taking my promise. Oh, this song is for you, filled with gratitude and love. Oh Lord, I thank you. You make me feel brand new. For blessing me, I adore you. Almighty God, I love you. I sing this song for you. Father God, I adore you. Yeah. My Lord, whenever I was insecure, you build me up and made me sure. You gave my sense of pride back to me. Only you care when I needed a friend, taking my promise. Oh, this song is for you, filled with gratitude and love. I thank you. You make me feel brand new. For blessing me, I adore you. Almighty God, I love you. I sing this song for you. You make me feel brand new. For blessing me, I love you. Yeah, I really love you. I sing this song for you. Oh yeah. When you have trouble, don't cry. Oh no, no. Just remember. Island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty of Jamaica, please don't do it.
keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty of Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep we
eat.
island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty of Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty of Jamaica, no dirty of Jamaica, no dirty of Jamaica, no dirty.
Yes, 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 yes. Welcome back to Rebel Radio. And at this time, you know, we deal have our program called Be Sure. Be Sure is aimed at getting you ready for the eventualities in life, you know. And as usual, we have our guest, insurance salesman Lloyd Brim. Lloyd, how are you today? No, I'm not hearing you, though. No, no, there's something because I'm not hearing you. You are hearing me, but I'm not hearing you at all. I don't know why I'm not hearing you. No, no, I'm not hearing you at all. Something. Well, let me do some sorting out. There is some molestation in the background. I don't know, but let me try and sort it out here.
No,
Huh? What did you say? No, I don't know what is this. I don't know what is the problem. But you want just all right. I tell you what to do. Hang up and let me call you back. Hang up. Hang up. Yeah. Yes, we're trying to get back Lloyd. Lloyd, are you there? All right, hold on. Let's hold on there now. Hold on. Yes, are you hearing me now? Hello? Lloyd?
Loud and clear.
Okay. All right. All right. Yes, so you remember that last week we were talking about planning. We were talking about will. How do we plan a will and how do we make sure that finances are in place to execute wishes on a will? And we were supposed to go on to just remind me what we were supposed to go on to again.
Well, we're going on to some more details about it and the reason why you make it, and talk a little bit about estate planning.
Yeah, estate planning. Yes, right, right, right. So when we broke last week, you were telling us all the intricacies, all the don'ts, all the do's of will planning.
Yes.
Yes. So you want to continue with that?
Yes, Desmond. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to you and your listeners.
Yes.
And to make it complete,
Hello? I don't know what happened to Lloydie again. We just lost him. Just fried. Let me try and get it back. I don't know what is happening. Don't know what is happening to Mr. Prim. Yes.
yes, I'm back with you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened a while ago.
I could get disconnected.
Oh. Yes, as you were saying, yes.
I was saying, for completeness, why does one make a will?
Yes.
It is to leave instructions as to what is to happen to all the properties that they own. There are some things that goes to your spouse without any argument or any discussion or any need to write anything. And the rest of it goes to other people. But things to be transferred from the deceased person to the beneficiary, there are taxes and expenses that are involved. And that is why we talk about will financing. So you make the will to avoid any family disputes, any fighting and chopping up and quarreling and so on as to who must get what.
Mm-hmm.
People who don't take the time to write a will. There's a will at the Administrator General Department that applies to everybody who dies intestate, meaning without a will.
Yes.
When it is that situation, dying without a will, the Administrator General takes charge of the estate,
Mm-hmm.
follows the steps set out in the law for intestacy. But the monies, the fees, and so on still have to be paid. Legal fees, probate fees, transfer, all of these things have to be paid. When the testator takes the time to make a will, you have in the will, you have the beneficiaries who the things go to, and then you have the people who carry out the instructions, step in the deceased person's shoes, and carries out the instruction that he gave. The Administrator General does this when there is no will by the person.
Mm-hmm.
So that clears up what we mean by will financing.
Yes.
And of course, Desmond, one non-negotiable expense when somebody dies is funeral expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody can put the bill for your funeral. Having done that, it gives them a claim on the estate right away. So the executors, these are the people who carry out the will, the instructions and the wishes.
Mm-hmm.
They have to find the money to finance the will. If the person never took the time to buy adequate insurance to provide these monies for funeral, monies for paying lawyers, paying taxes, paying all of these things, assets from the estate can be sold to provide money to pay up all of these expenses.
Just pause a moment there. Let me ask you a question. We're talking about money. Now, percentage-wise,
Yes.
is it for example, what percentage of a property is usually used to take care of all these expenses that you are talking about? So, for example, what about taxes? What would be?
The entire thing comes to about 26%, and that is made up of legal fees, which can be about 9%.
Mm-hmm.
Probate fees, which is 6%.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a list of other fees, which some expenses don't apply to some estates.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an estate, that has what we're going to talk about estate planning right this minute. If you have the estate and let's say the real estate is owned jointly, it doesn't need a will to transfer it, because it means you have two types of ownerships. You have tenant in common ownership, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means you and I, we have our names on the title, and it is in such a way that when one person dies, the surviving person becomes the full owner.
Yes.
And you have it, that's in tenants in common, and then you have joint tenants now, whereby you own, just for this argument, 40%, I own 60, or you own 50, I own 50. Whatever the ownership, whatever the percentage, it is just saying that I can will away my percentage, my portion, to anybody I want.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do the same. What we said before was that both of you own it jointly. When one person is deceased, the survivor automatically owns all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what one strike there for estate planning, how the ownership is. What type of ownership the asset is in.
Yes.
So we were at legal fees, probate fees, executors fees,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a list of fees there. But as I said,
And those fees are fixed.
yes.
And at the end, and the total sum is 25% of the whatever the property is.
Roughly 26% of the net value of the estate.
Yeah. Okay.
What the person owns constitute their estate.
Yes.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how this thing comes about. And the people who are beneficiaries, people who are designated as beneficiaries, they are lined up to be the next owner of these assets.
Mm-hmm.
The money is not there, and the executors go to court and get permission to sell assets in the estate because it cannot be sold otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
They get court permission to sell the asset, then they're selling the asset to get the cash.
To pay the fees.
To pay these fees. Otherwise, everything's stuck.
Or the beneficiaries could find the money.
Absolutely, if they are capable of doing that. But if they are 9 years old and 13 years old, or them 20-year-old going to university and college and so on, the chances of finding it is very slim.
Yes.
What happens if they don't come up with the money?
Well, tell us what will happen when they don't come with the money. This is that the exact.
As the clock tick, you have 12 months to settle the estate.
Mhm.
You don't settle the estate, so the government don't get the transfer tax, and the tax start to grow interest.
Mhm.
And if it is not attended to, the amount grows to a point where the government get frustrated and sell it to recover the money that is owed. So you're putting everything at risk when you don't make proper provision for this activity called will financing.
Okay.
Now, we all should have advisors. So in putting your estate together, you want to have a proper mix between black and steel, cash in hand, and near cash. What I mean by near cash is like stocks and bonds and CDs and other government paper and so on. These are convertible to cash, like overnight. Good?
Mhm.
Now, when we do that, we do it with the aim of minimizing these expenses that become due upon this occurrence.
Mhm.
So it's not a wise thing to have 90% of your estate in black and steel, because they're not necessarily can be sold in short time or reasonable time.
Mhm. So you must have some liquid.
Absolutely. So to make the mix of the estate, you want some of all of the different assets. Some real estate, some cash, some near cash. And this mix would depend on the person's income, the person's stage of life, and so on. So the mix can be changed, or the mix should be changed as you go from one stage to the next. Life insurance ought to be a central column, if I may use that term, in your financial planning, in the mix of your estate. Why? All these taxes that we're talking about and these expenses,
Mhm.
if your estate is made up of, let's say, 100 million life insurance coverage, because in the insurance industry, we are saying that you can create an estate by the magic of paper and ink, just by signing on the dotted line.
Mhm.
For a 50 million insurance policy, you have created a 50 million estate immediately.
Mhm.
Compared to somebody who would have to have 2 apartment blocks or 1 apartment block
Mhm.
constructed over whatever period and so on. So if I leave you, my son, a 50 million life insurance policy, somebody else leave their son a 50 million piece of real estate. The person with the insurance policy walks into the insurance office, put the claim documents together, and walk out with a $50 million check. No deductions made from it. The person with the 50 million piece of real estate has to go to the lawyer, has to do the probate and all these things. So long as the insurance policy is to a named beneficiary, the named beneficiary get it all, let's say, in cash, and get it within the time for the settlement. Walk away, invest it in whatever they want to invest it in, and start their own estate building. With the real estate, all kind of issues can come up. You can have tenants, you cannot get out of the place. The insurance covering damage, natural disaster, and so might just expire a week before the hurricane season. There are many reasons for wanting to have a mix in your portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And the tax plus the other expenses dictates how you should put your estate together. So people's risk tolerance, all of these things needs to be considered when you're putting the estate together. And then you get the lawyer to estimate how much it would cost if you died last night to transfer all of these things. And you buy that amount of life insurance plus to guarantee the safe transfer of your estate, assets, and so on from one generation to the next. Another thing you need to know is that somebody dies leaving a debt. The debt has to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the executor's duty to pay it. So if you have cash or you have assets that can be sold, the executors will get the authority from the court to sell them.
To liquidate your debt?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually the executors that owe the money now. And all who owes money to the deceased person's estate, those monies are now owed to the executors.
Mm-hmm.
So if you will die without a will and you leave a business, you leave haulage trucks and taxis and luxury cars and all of these things, the executors have the right and the power to step in, take all of those vehicles and park them at a safe place. Nobody can drive them and so. And take over the business. Either they close it down, they sell it, or they put somebody in there to run it until the issue is settled. So making a will is not a joke, and it's not something that we must take lightly, and it's not something we must just ask the shopkeeper to write. Mm-hmm. Anybody can write it, but will it be legally sound? Will it stand up to any challenge? Wills can be challenged for many reasons. See, it goes as far as this. I don't know if we would say ridiculous or not, but it goes as far as this. Somebody dies, I am left out of their will, and I can bring proof to the court to show that I am alive and well only because of the support of this person. Whatever the connection is, whether you like the connection or you don't like it, the court don't think about that.
Hold on, explain that to me, because if you are not the deceased child or relative, how comes? What claim do you have? Can you make a claim to be a?
You can.
You can do that?
Yes. The point I'm making is that if you can prove that the person is all this time has been responsible for your maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they are getting on their side, whatever benefits they're getting, that's not an issue. The issue is they kept you alive. And now they're gone. And they don't leave the continued support. You get what I'm saying, John?
Yes, I'm following you.
So, can I just give you two examples? this person who's deceased had a mistress, paying the mistress rent and all her expenses by credit card or by check, and leave a trail. Accountants call it an audit trail. But there is enough evidence to prove that this person used to pay the rent, provide all the things they need to keep you alive, your food, your doctor bill, whatever it may be. And then they just make a will and leave you out of it. You can make a claim against the will. That's what I meant last time when I said a will needs to be legally sound.
Yes.
You with me?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So these are issues that people don't take the time to talk to us as insurance advisors, or better still, financial advisors. We don't cover all the aspects, but we can point you to the various things that you need to pay attention to and make provision for.
Mm-hmm.
So you could leave your wife out of your will. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
See? And for us, our culture in Jamaica, where you have more than one spouse and more than one, let me say, female companion. Ladies guilty of it, but most time is us men that the claim is laid against. You know, people buy apartment for people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the mortgage and so on.
Yes.
All these things, people can make claim against your will, your estate, if you leave them out of your will.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
When we talk about the estate planning,
Yes.
I mentioned earlier that the assets that you have under your ownership, you need to be guided and advised as to what percentage is prudent to be held in cash, near cash, or as you said, black and steel, to make the probating of your estate speedier, and the people who you really want to inherit your estate,
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones who end up getting their fair share.
Yes.
Lack of provision will diminish what ends up in the beneficiary's possession.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't do what I am talking about now, assets will be sold that was intended for a particular person.
Yeah. You need to slow down a moment and tell us about the disadvantage of dying intestate. Because that is where the government comes in.
No, government in there all the while. All these transfer tax and things that you're paying is the government coffers it going into.
Yes.
And you know the government strenuously defends collection of these kind of funds. You
Yes.
can't hide them from the taxman.
No. But when someone dies intestate, the living property, those properties are dealt with by the state. Am I right?
Yes, the Administrator General is the office that is authorized so to do.
Mm-hmm. And
But
my understanding is that when the Administrator General steps in, that the process there becomes, should I say, cloudy?
Well, the first thing they'll do is appoint an executor. The office will appoint an executor,
Yes.
and the executor now have these legal definitions, and you actually have a whole set of instructions that the executor will follow
Mhm.
based on the laws of intestacy.
Yes.
You ask about the disadvantages of dying without a will.
Yes.
I tell you some of them. The first one is that your estate, the assets that you have, the things you own that have a title, these things might end up with somebody who you would never give a drink of water, much less an apartment or
How is that?
or
Tell us, how is that possible?
because if the person falls in the law, the intestacy law, you have a brother or some relative that treat you so bad when you were a child and so on, or people who ill-treat you somewhere along the line.
Yes.
But because you didn't make a will, it happened to be your half-brother, and the law provides for your half-brother to get something out of your estate if you die without a will.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife might treat you so bad, and you separate, but you never divorce. She is still legally your wife.
Yes, yes.
And that intestacy law gives heavy and favorable consideration to your wife.
And children?
Yes.
Mhm.
Whether the child is registered in your name or not, or you do a DNA test which says, yes, this is your child.
Mhm.
So you had no intention of giving your estranged wife anything, and you end up getting a big percentage. You have no plan to give your half-brother anything at all, but because of how the law is structured. So that is why I say it so many times, and I'll say it again. It's advisable to make a will, and it is best you go to the professional so designated who is the lawyer. Because all of these things I'm talking about, I am not a lawyer, but I have been doing this for a long time, and I have been called to issues like this. Some people, your name is there as an advisor. You sold them some insurance. They gave them advice to go and check out the stock market and so on. So you're an integral part of this person's life. I have been called to answer questions
Mhm.
relating to people's estate.
Yes.
So that's some of the disadvantages of not preparing and doing proper preparation for estate planning.
Mhm.
Estate planning has to do with putting the estate together. How you approach on it. As I said before, cash, black and steel, and so on.
Mhm.
Look at a case where I have been taking care of this child. Not in my name or anything, but it is accepted and I act as though it's my problem.
Mhm.
And then a DNA is done and it says it's not my child.
Yes.
The intestacy law not going to give that child anything.
Mhm.
But if you state it in your will, there's no consideration whether it's your child or not.
Yes.
you give this person a part of your estate.
Okay.
And they can be dispossessed.
Right.
If they were enjoying your care and protection and so on, and that the guys that is your child, and any dispute come up and the test is done and it's not your child.
Yeah.
Unless the child is in the will.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, sir?
Yes, sir. And I want to tell you that you have to save what additional information you may have until next week, because we have come to the end of today's program.
Well,
yes.
Thank you, sir, and thanks to your listeners, and remind them that if they're concerned, if they need any advice, if they have any questions, they could call your station, and the question will be taken, and then we can bring the answer to them at the next time we are on video.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lightbrim.
Okay. Thanks, Desmond.
Okay.
Bye.
That was Be Sure. And as you know, Be Sure is the program aimed at putting you on your right footing for emergencies. So pay attention to the content of this program. These are very important information for you in your daily lives. This is Rebel Radio. We go for a break.
And I know my Redeemer lives. Yes, I know my Redeemer lives. Let all creation testify. His life is magnified. And I know my Redeemer lives. Oh yes, it lives. I can testify now. Who taught the sun where to stand in the morning? And who taught the ocean you can only come this far? And who showed the moon where to hide till evening? Whose words alone can catch a falling star? That's why I know my Redeemer lives. I've looked high and I've looked low. There's no one to compare to you. Climbed to the highest mountain, looked all around, couldn't find nobody. Yeah. Went down into the deepest valley, looked all around, couldn't find nobody. I went across the deep blue sea, couldn't find one to compare to your grace, your love, your mercy. Nobody greater than you. Lord of mercy, searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody greater than you. Lord of mercy, searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody greater than you. Nobody greater, Nobody greater. Nobody greater than you. Yeah. I searched all over, couldn't find nobody. Looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Yeah. Nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody greater than you. Lord of mercy, nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody greater than you. Climbed to the highest mountain, looked all around, couldn't find nobody. Yeah. Went down into the deepest valley, looked all around, couldn't find nobody. I went across the deep blue sea, couldn't find one to compare to your grace, your love, your mercy. Nobody greater than you. Lord of mercy, searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody greater than you. Lord of mercy, searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low. Unseen angels watching over me. Oh, precious memories, unseen angels sent from somewhere to my soul. How they linger, ever near me, and the sacred pass unfold. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever floods my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold. As I travel on life pathway, I know not what my heels may hold. And as I ponder, hope grows fonder. Precious memories floods my soul. So precious memories, how they linger, how they ever floods my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold. Precious memories, unseen angels sent from somewhere to my soul. How they linger, ever near me, and the sacred pass unfold. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever floods my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold. So precious memories, how raining down again. How the heaven floods my soul in the stillness of the midnight. Rest so sacred seems unfold. Christ so real to me. I love him because he gave me the victory. Many people doubt him, but I can't do without him. That is why I love him so. It's so real to me. Real. Christ so real to me. I love him because he gave me the victory. Many people doubt him, but I can't do without him. That is why I love him so. It's so real to me. Press along, saints, press along in God, hold with. Press along, saints, press along in God, hold with. Persecution we must bear, trial and crosses in our way. But the hotter the battle, the sweeter the victory. Oh, press along, saints, press along in God, oh way. Press along, saints, press along in God, oh way. A persecution we must bear, trial and crosses in our way. But the hotter the battle, the sweeter the victory. It's so bitter when troubles and trials, when I get home on the other side, I'm gonna shake my hands with the elders, tell all the people good morning. I'm gonna sit down beside my Jesus. I'm gonna sit down and rest a little while. 'Cause it's so bitter when troubles and trials, when I get home on the other side, I'm gonna shake my hands with the elders, tell all the people good morning. I'm gonna sit down beside my Jesus. I'm gonna sit down and rest a little while. Stand up and tell me if you love my Jesus. Stand up and tell me if you love my Lord. I want to know if you love my Jesus. I want to know if you love my Lord. Stand up and tell me if you love my Jesus. Stand up and tell me if you love my Lord. I want to know if you love my Jesus. I want to know if you love my Lord. I love that man from Galilee, for he has done so very much for me. He has taken all my sins and let the Holy Ghost come in. I love that man from Galilee. I love that man from Galilee, for he has done so very much.
Congratulations here with a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shen Yang, everyone see wear a mask, let the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay you down flat. Nose and mouth, you fi cover up that. Oh, 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 oh. Sanitize or get hospitalized. Fight the virus and fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause you test say you not have, you can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause you test say you not have, you can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Yeah. Keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to Rebel Radio. And at this time, you know, it is workers' time. And we are going to be talking to the General Secretary of...
I don't know what happened. We got cut off.
Yes. We are going to be talking to the General Secretary of UTAS. That's the Union of Technical, Administrative and Supervisory Personnel, St. Patrick's, Ennis. Good afternoon and Happy New Year, Mr. Ennis.
Afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
And same to you.
Yes, yes, yes. No, hello?
You may not feel it, but you're not alone. You're hurting now, but your morning is coming. Lord of mercy, just hold on to Jesus and ride out your storm. Remember, it's from me.
Yeah. Yes, back with you, so, St. Patrick's.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Well, last year was a stubborn year for the labor movement, and based on what I saw, and where we are now. Hello. Hello. I don't know what is happening. I keep losing St. Patrick's. I don't know what is happening at all.
Hello?
Yes, I don't know. As we start talking, I don't know the phone.
Yeah, and the reception is very bad.
Yep.
And there's an echo.
I am hearing you very clear, though. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you, but
Yeah.
it's muddled, and
Well-
I am hearing an echo.
Well, I am not hearing that echo at all in my studio at all. I'm not hearing it in my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try and talk through it, but
Yeah. I can tell you that I'm hearing you very clearly. There are no obstacles in your where you are in this transmission. But what are you based on where your vantage point? What kind of industrial here are you looking at? Yes, sir, Ennis.
yeah, man, I try to call you back to see if it would be any better.
Okay. Yes,
Well,
so
Not necessarily any better, but
Yeah, what kind of industrial year are you looking at this year?
What kind of what? Sorry?
Industrial year. How do you see the industrial situation playing out this year? No. Something is not going through at all. I don't know why it keeps cutting off. I don't understand what is happening at all. What is going on? You know, we are trying to talk with St. Patrice Ennis. And
Hello?
yes, I have you back again. And then I don't know what is happening at all. Something is radically wrong. Wrong. I don't know what is the problem. I don't know why we keep losing our guest. And as I said, we are trying to speak with St. Patrice Ennis. And every time I get him on the line, then he just disappears. I don't know exactly what.
I don't understand what.
I myself is lost. I don't know what is happening at all. Something is radically wrong here. I don't know why we keep losing him. And you know, this is something is wrong. This is workers' time, and we're having issues getting our guest online. I don't know exactly. Yes, I don't know exactly what is
It's a little
happening.
better though.
Yes, but there is something that is wrong here. I don't know what is the situation. Why as we get him on the line, then something just happened, and he's offline. Something is not right at all. I don't know what is happening with my line. I don't know exactly what is going on. I'm still trying. I'm still trying to get Mr. Ennis. Let me try again. Yes. Hello?
You
Yeah.
trying?
Something is. Something is not. Something is offline. Something is not going right at all. I wonder what is the situation, because I try getting him, have him online, and then he just goes away like that. I'll try and work it out to see what is the situation here. But there is some technical issues here that is giving me some problems, man. I don't know understand. But from all indications, this year is going to be a challenging year. It's going to be challenging from all indications, right? I don't know. Yes. Yeah, give me another line then. WhatsApp it to me. What it is? Give me that number. Yes, we are going to try and see if we can talk to St. Patrice on another number. You know? Yes. But as I was saying that this year, last year was tough. This year, from all indications, it's gonna be tougher here this year. You know, and the workers, everybody, just will have to put hands and heart together and try to make ends meet, because this year is not going to be an easy year at all. Not going to be easy. No, not at all, not at all. Still trying to get St. Patrick's Ennis. Yes, Mr. Ennis, you are there? All right, let us try and see if we can make a connection now. Are you hearing me? He's gone again. Something is radically wrong right now. You know, something is going very, very bad. Very, very. You can't come inside.
Couldn't stop the even if I try. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the moments fly. This life is richer, deeper, fuller, sweeter. This life is sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter, 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 sweeter as the moments fly. This love is richer, deeper, fuller, sweeter. This love is richer, sweeter than the days go by.
One, two, three, two more. One, two. Adults to 30 minutes activity daily. Love your body, treat your body right. Vegetables, make sure you eat plenty. Children do 60 minutes activity daily. Drink some water when you feel thirsty. Cut down dessert and have a smoothie. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. One more time now. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Listen up. Make sure you know your health status. Go a doctor and get a regular checkup. Chronic disease can slowly creep up. We can lower the risk and live up if we just eat right and get moving. Jumping, running, dancing, or skipping. Change the children, them lazy habit. Make them play out the door and put down the tablet. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Jamaica, get moving. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. After to make me hear you say I love me. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. After to make me hear you say I love me. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. One more time now. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Jamaica, get moving. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body.
Yes, sir. Back again. I wonder if we have Mr. Hennis now. Mr. Hennis? Hello? Not there. He's not there. There.
Oh, what a friend, yeah. A blessed Savior. Oh, what a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and grief to bear. Oh, what a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. We trials and temptations.
Don't move. Don't move. I have you now. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. All right. So as I was saying to you when we had that mishap, I was saying what kind of industrial relations here are you seeing in your radar this year?
Well, I'm not sure if some things will happen on the with respect to the this year, but there are things that we have had on our radar for some time, like the passing of legislation to deal with the Occupational Health and Safety Act, um, OSHA. There has been something in the pipeline and is in Parliament now for some time, or has been with the Ministry of Labour to be piloted through Parliament, and that has been taking many years. I'm not sure. Every year, each minister says it's going to pass. It has not come to pass yet. I've seen many ministers of Labour come and go, and this thing has not been brought to fruition. So that is one critical area, because, as you know, we have had several incidents of workers getting um, injured, and some cases were actually fatal on the job. Last year that took place, in at more than one place. So that is something that should be given some amount of paramountcy, because that involves people's lives, it involves people's health, and that should always be given paramountcy over anything else. Another thing that perhaps which is now in the news or has been in the news recently has to do with, we have spoken about paternity leave. There are some legislators that has brought it, has mentioned it in the Senate. We know the government has brought it to more public sector workers. The talk has been that it has been initiated in the public sector. That is not an actual fact. It was there in some entities in the public sector. I may say some public sector entities, such as the Port Authority, the Airport Authority, and when it was at those places, and even the places such as that is no longer public sector. It was at Cayman Track Limited when that was the public sector. It was at Nessal before it was disbanded. So it has been at other places, but it undoubtedly it has expanded, but what has happened is that it has been brought more to public sector workers, but not nationally. And a lot of people have to view it as a national matter, but it is just really for the public sector bodies. So,
and that is what you mean contract. That's a contract, right?
That has been the government endorsed or encapsulated in the public sector agreements between the government and unions that have signed up. And the government generally has that as a policy going forward. And I suspect all the other public sector entities will follow suit, giving paternity leave to fathers, pending fathers, giving on three occasions, similar to maternity leave. And I think it's 20 days would be the paternity leave on producing evidence that is so. So that is good where that is concerned. And I think it's on 3 occasions per employer. So we have that. And I just spoke about that being made nationally, and there has been some talk by some senators to do so. I don't know if that will come to fruition. There are matters we've mentioned before: contract work. We need legislation where that is concerned, to take away the ambiguity between contract work and fixed employment and regular employment. So where workers' security of tenure is threatened, and the persons are not able to access loans and can be summarily dismissed because by just not renewing a contract. So there's a lot of things there, and I think we at some point have enumerated some on your program, and I'd be happy to do so whenever asked in terms of disadvantages where that is concerned. So there are a number of things. I would tell you, even something that you don't hear about much, even the legislation that has to do with, for example, if you're a Rastafarian and you should smoke, go to a concert where you can smoke marijuana, and you are now back at the job, you know that that substance stay with you for an extended period, for months. And if you are job tested, then you are likely to lose your work because then you would be. So even things as nuanced as that, has not been fully thought out. And so there are a number of issues that is off the top of my head, that require some attention this year. But there are quite a few others.
Right. And of course, the way the compensation issue is still high on the agenda because thousands of workers have not yet signed on to this new compensation package.
That is correct. That has to do with the public sector.
Right.
And indeed, that is so. There are a number of entities, not just those who are not signed up, but also what you will note is that those that had the ability or had the opportunity to sign off were those that were largely in central government.
Yes.
The entities are the one in the public bodies are what we call parastatal entities, such as statutory bodies and so on. Those workers in those entities, salaries have been put on, meaning improvement in their salaries have been put on hold for the entire 2022 until the government conducts its review of that sector, which has not yet begun, but it is their intention to begin in short order, and so that those persons can get some reprieve. And that, so we're talking people who work at UDC, people who work at Housing Trust, people who work at the at MHD, and entities, DOJ, entities like those.
Yes.
That are not necessarily central government workers. Those, classification in those entities have been put on hold, and any form of salary adjustment has been put on hold pending the conclusion of the compensation review or the discussion between the government and the union for that sector. With respect to the central government, there are still outstanding groups of outstanding agreements to be signed between the government and their workers' representative. We know of the teachers outstanding. We know of the police outstanding. We know of several other entities that are outstanding. We know that the NW has not signed. We know that the UAW has not signed. For some category of workers, UTAS has not signed either.
Yes.
Namely for the medical technologists and so on. So because they even have outstanding 2017 to 2021 agreement, and so they are waiting that to even be concluded before they can seriously give consideration about this compensation review. So there are a number of entities, and groups of workers that still remain, have this review or outstanding. So, yes, we have some ways to go. I know the minister wants to get everything concluded before budget, which is March or thereabout. But it is, I don't know how successful it would be.
St. Patrice, there are two areas of concern. So you have a workforce of over 1 million. And basically, it's about 15 or so percent of those workers are unionized. The others are not. Then you have workers who are earning the minimum wage. And you have another set of the security guards. For decades they have been left outside of the unionized force. Now, the question is, what do you think the unions can do to address these issues? Let's say starting this year.
Well, the security guard issue, the court has provided a big useful fillip in addressing the matter of the security guards by declaring them to be workers. And what we understand that to just be employees.
Yes.
And so that has cleared the way, saying that they are no longer they're not contractors and so on. So there is talk and there is dialogue, I suspect, in that direction. It's all up to the workers and the owners. The unions always are ready, and has always been ready. But I suspect some of the workers were of the view that they were indeed contractors, and some were perhaps afraid or intimidated to approach union. I think it is a little bit now out in the open. People are a little bit more determined, and I'm hoping that before the year is out, that the security guards, at least the majority of them, would come under the umbrella of probably a joint industrial council by the union, something to that effect.
Okay.
So we're hoping that would, and if there's no, I'm sure the workers would not object, but the key is whether the owners would acquiesce to something like that.
But can they prevent the workers from?
No. They can't prevent the workers. But what I'm talking about is something that that was in sugar, something like that was in where you come under one umbrella, so that they can have some stability.
Yes.
In the industry, because what you don't want is marksman competing with Atlas and in terms of one worker here and so on, and you want some stability, some organization, like what you had in sugar, like what you had in construction and so on.
Yes.
Some standard,
okay.
Some standard, general standard that everybody can agree to, owners, workers, along with their unions and indeed government, so that people can be represented and there's decent work.
Okay.
So that is it. The minimum wage. The minimum wage is, as everybody know, is below what is adequate for individuals. I can tell you that the minimum wage advisory commission, that is the body that goes out and have consultation with the general public and makes recommendation to the Minister of Labour, Honorable Minister Samuda, for him to take to cabinet for the adoption of a minimum wage. The work of the commission has been completed or was completed. Well, not the work of the commission. The consultation by the commission was completed, and I think that the commission is now in the process, as we speak, of preparing its submission to the Minister of Labour. So I suspect at some point this year that there might be once that work is done, then it's up to the government now to make a decision as to what will happen where the minimum wage is concerned. And the minimum wage, oftentimes, just to let your listeners know, when we say minimum wage, we have two minimum wage. Where we have the minimum wage for security guards and we have the normal minimum wage, right? The minimum wage for security guards, 10,600 a week, and the one for the ordinary person is 9,000. So there's always been that, and of course with that comes, other things for the security guard. So those things are set, are written in law as to establish for both the security guard and the ordinary worker. So I don't remember. You mentioned both.
Yes, so I'm
I
saying
don't remember the other
the third
part.
one is that of the workforce is a small number of the workers are unionized. So the majority, the majority of the workers in Jamaica, they are left. They are on their own.
Right. That is true. And the majority of the workers are not unionized. And there are some reasons for that. And partly, one, ignorance of workers, that's one, and employers too. And one, the intimidation factor is very alive and well in Jamaica, as people feel afraid to even mention union in certain quarters, and of course, things can happen to them. It is our experience that those things, people are victimized sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, most employers don't want any union activity in their place of employment.
Yes.
And so we have that because they are still, a lot of them, backward in their thinking with respect to it must be antagonistic and, must be something that would stymie productivity and so on. On the contrary, what happens is that all we do is allow unions don't cause problem. Problem exists before, and the union, and that is why workers want a union to help to resolve the problem. Without the union, that doesn't mean that the problem goes away. Unions do not invite themselves to companies. They're actually called in. Unions don't even advertise, really. So the problem exists before the union, and the union are often invited or called in to settle the issue. So whether you have a union or not, the problem doesn't go away. The inherent conflict between capital and labor remains, and oftentimes that is what causes workers to be disgruntled. That is what affects your productivity at times. Instead of we be able, experts in the field, be able to provide mechanism and ways how to treat with the various issues in a mutually respectful way. So that is one. But also we are all cognizant that, and we are very much aware that almost every institution in terms of its membership has decreased over the years. We see that, whether it is political parties, there's less membership, there's less participation in the political process. We see that with our churches. We see that with, I don't know of any real entities get over institution that can say that person's membership, their participation has gone up in recent times. So it is not unique where that is concerned, but it is something that we must arrest the slide, and we because that does not argue well or redound to nobody's benefit. Strong unions mean better working condition, but not only better working condition. It means better living standards for both the workers and the country overall. And that is something, I mean, not because I'm a trade unionist, I say so, but that can be easily verified empirically.
But don't you think the unions can do more to sensitize workers about the needs for trade unions?
Of course.
So,
Of course.
so why are the unions not doing that?
I don't think anybody can say they can't do more. Of course, we can do more. And one of the challenges that the resources that not there to perhaps do what all the unions want to do, because remember, it's a working class matter. This is not going to be necessarily funded by capital, so it has to be funded by workers themselves. And it's very difficult to organize, the lesser amongst us in terms of we are not the ones with the resources to part and say with what we have and say let's do this, let's do that, let's do that. It's challenging times, but of course that doesn't mean that you can't do more. I think perhaps the unions we all have to find other ways and means of getting our messages across, perhaps using social media more, and to perhaps go out more. But this is something that we have recognized, and we are actively giving thought and consideration to how we can reach more persons and educate our populace more about what union activity is, and let them understand that it's not really about us as traders, it's really about them. And because the entire recent history of Jamaica has been political history, and really has been done, on the backs of workers and the trade union movement. And it is a pity that many of us do not understand or appreciate what the organized labor has done in terms of giving us the form of democracy, giving us a lot of the rights that we now enjoy and take for granted. I mean, you asked me we're talking about paternity leave, and the government of Jamaica has, through constant negotiations and discussion with the government, has now thought it fit to make paternity leave broad scale in the public sector. We have maternity leave since the 70s. These are things that in countries that are far more developed, in the United States, they don't have paid family leave to this day. Jamaica has it. I mean, we have made tremendous strides. We have a tribunal where we're here in Jamaica. An employer is not the final arbiter on anybody's employment. But that doesn't exist everywhere.
Yes, that's true.
Right. I mean, if the employer say go, we can have a tribunal that is made out of labor, government, and employer, and not just lawyer. I mean, ordinary people consist of that panel, right? Ordinary practitioners consist of that panel, our peers, who make a determination whether this was we don't say lawful dismissal, no, we say justifiable or unjustifiable. You understand? So it could be even lawful or legal, but it's unjust.
Yes.
So those are the sort of things that we have developed out here, and it cannot be overturned. unless it's on a point of law, even by our court system. So we have really set some, perhaps, I don't want to sound strange, but we have done well in this regard. And a lot of things has been won for workers. For, much more than many other countries. And perhaps that too, has not worked.
Another set
I
of
think you get what I'm saying.
Another set of workers. Yeah, I agree that we have made some progress, on the labor scene. I will agree with that. But there are many workers who are, as I said, out in the cold. And for example, the tourism workers. I see that last year, a number of tourism ministers in the Caribbean put that on the agenda. And this conference that is coming up next month, that I understand is going to be one of the items on the agenda. The wage situation in the tourism sector. Well, it is disgraceful.
It is indeed. But I would put it to you that it is not that the unions are not willing and more than able and have tried to capture the hotel workers, but the hotel workers are fearful.
Yes.
And perhaps
just like security guards,
right, have not come on board. But it's not that the unions are not there, have not been really clamoring to bring these people on board, right? So perhaps what we ought to do is Capital has really fought hard in that sector, I must admit, to not bring in unions because it is one of the biggest employer in the country, and consistently it has been underrepresented when it comes to trade union representation. So that is not by accident. That is deliberate. So it is not that we have not been trying, but it is that persons are intimidated. Persons don't feel that persons feel that they'll be victimized if they come and join the union. So it is something that I think one of the ways the unions have to fight, instead of individually, each union going out to seek bargaining rights, what we perhaps have to do is as a people, is to make demand on these entities. I mean, sometimes, we're negotiating with government, and government is does the largest business in Jamaica. Sometimes we have to make demand on the government that, well, if you don't treat workers properly, then we can't have. I mean, we have people in government too. Government need to say, then if you don't treat workers properly, then we're going to have problem doing business with some of these entities, and I'm sure they're listening. I mean, let me put it simple. If you practice child labor as a country, certain countries will not trade with you. If you have a breach in your environmental practices, certain countries will not do business with you. So why can't our government say, well, if you are not observing proper labor laws and standards, whether it is want to be security guard companies or not, why we can't say to these companies, and the government, who is the largest business operator in the country, we will not do business with you, because none of them can really survive without the business of the government. And sometimes we ought to look there in terms of how we approach things, because that is certainly what countries do. I mean, in their trade laws and how they operate, they have these things written in them that if you do not adhere to certain standards, then we are not going to do business. So you can't be saying that, look, you're not paying workers a certain things, you're not workers, you're dismissing workers without due process and so on.
Mhm.
You are, we're not doing business with you. In the United States, for example,
Mhm.
when Mr. Obama was president and he was trying to bring in a certain minimum wage for in the country and for various states, and it wasn't supported. What the practice that he embarked upon was to say, look, if you are not paying X amount as a minimum wage to your workers, the federal government will not be doing business with you.
Mhm. Mhm.
That is what they did.
So you're
Federal government, I mean, he couldn't get it through his legislation there, right? Because they had the divided divided legislature, right? So he couldn't get it passed, but he couldn't take a decision to say, if you are not adhering to certain standards, which is we are going by the $15 an hour minimum wage, then I'm not doing business with you as a federal government.
Mhm.
And if you and know for fact, and the facts will reveal that many entities are to comply.
So you think the
Of
Jamaican?
course,
you
then
think-
that is what I'm suggesting,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes. Well.
Put pressure there.
Well.
Put
le-
pressure there, and so we as a country need to organize. I mean, the majority of us, are workers.
Yes.
The majority of us have our representative. We must make demands in our little meeting and constituent meeting. How many times workers are asking their members of parliament and so on, and are their councillors or their caretakers or whatever, what are you doing about contract work? What are you doing about this? What are you doing about what
Yes.
those
Yes.
factors, they are the legislators. The government plays a role in it.
Yeah,
So it is not just the mobilization in terms of what these individual unions are doing or what the confederation. As a country, our consciousness needs to be seized with these issues because these are bread and butter issues.
Of course they are. Of
You
course they
understand?
are. Yes.
So I am even being the broader. We have to have an agenda as a country because how we want our government to operate.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Have certain standards. Why
Yeah.
are we doing business with you when you're not even paying the minimum wage to security guard? Why you have business with the government?
Mhm.
Why what if you're hostile to trade unions and you said and trade unions are part of your party and part of your government and part of this, right? And you need to have agreement with them. You needed our agreement to get to get an IMF agreement.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What were our demands then?
Mhm. Yeah.
You couldn't get the whole country couldn't get an IMF agreement had the trade unions not agreed,
I recall that.
Yes. So what were our demands? We made none.
Okay. Yes.
Right? We need to make demands and those things. For example, we're talking about a compensation review. We're talking about a compensation review right now. Right? And the government hell-bent on it. What are our demands apart from people getting more money? Why we don't say you have thousands of workers on contract in government? Why we don't get them out? Why we don't regularize their status of employment that when they are finished working, they have a pension, that they can get seniority, that they can get incremental movement,
Yes.
that they have security of tenure. The government is demanding that we accede to their request or we append our signature to this compensation review. But this is also not just the union, but also the other workers in the entity must be seized of these things. That these things are affecting our brothers and sisters. You can't just ball out, me want my money, and to hell with your fellow workers.
Yes, so so that is an era where the union movement should seize the opportunity to put those issues forward.
Yes. So these are not these are not things that has not that we are unaware of, right? But it needs a level of consciousness in our society. There was a time when we used to be not just aware of struggles that are here, but struggles that are overseas, and so on. We need to capture, rekindle some of that energy and spirit, as much as it is difficult now. But some of us have to do the work, and I am one prepared to do so, right? Where we have to try and engender that sort of um, thinking in our people again, that we have to be our brother's keeper, because as much as we believe that is not any of our business, it is going to come back to bite us if your brother and sister are not doing well. They are going to seek it somewhere, and you might very much be the victim.
And on that note, I the crime problem in the country, everybody, I mean, most people is affected by the crime problem, and I'm sure workers are affected. So I see a room for the trade unions to put their muscle, their thinking behind the working on solutions, or coming up with suggestions that would address the crime problem also.
Right, because there's a direct link between labor and crime.
Yes.
I mean, this has been documented, and ILO studies have shown that, you know. And I don't think you have to do much thinking to see that if, your workers and their families are in good order, then there's be less affinity to deviant behavior and crime subsequently. Um, but the what we do know, and several World Bank studies have shown, that we're losing at least 6 to 7% of our GDP as a result of crime.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are much poorer as a result of it. We're spending a lot of money on security as a result of it. Companies and workers cannot go about their business normally. Places have to close early as a result of it. And sometimes you can't do a shift because of it, and where you live, and the threat of harm coming your way.
Yes.
So, and you can't operate certain places because of the crime. So it affects us in many ways.
Yes.
But the figure, 6 to 7% of our GDP, we are losing as a result of our crime problem. That is significant, and of course, I agree with you that it is something, because workers live in the communities, they are affected, and not only are they affected um, um, by it, but their families are affected by it,
Yes.
and the entire, and by extension, the entire society. So indeed, we have a role to play where that is concerned, and we have been part of many of the initiative and other civil society groups we have participated in, with respect to getting discussion between the government and opposition, which has been really difficult to do in terms of addressing, because this goes beyond politics, because it affects all of us,
Mhm.
and so it is something that we are constantly having dialogue with other civil society groups, with the government and the opposition, in terms of how we can get some serious measures in place to reduce this crime. It's really frightening.
Yeah. St. Patrice, I really want to thank you very, very much for joining us this evening and sharing your views with us. As you know, workers' time is specifically designed to address issues at the workplace and all the other issues that really comes out of the workplace. So this platform is open for all the union representatives. I want to thank you very much, sir.
You're most welcome, my brother.
Yes. And have a
Okay,
good
bye
evening.
bye.
Stay safe. That was St. General Secretary of UTASP. That's the Union of Technical, Administrative, and Supervisory Personnel. And that was workers' time. Boy, there's so many things, so many issues to be addressed at the workplace. Don't go away. We're going to take a break.
We cover up that. Sanitizer, get hospitalized. Fight the virus, then fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause you test say you not have, you can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause you test say you not have, you can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Yeah. Keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive. Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, go on with it.
Yo, is it? Are you kidding me?
To us, yeah. So we are coming here with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, we not rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks like we need it the most. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings, not just for the plus. Gratitude is a must. Yeah, we see blessings fall by my right hand. Was a toast for the friends that take off the load. One time did sit down in a class and we poured dead. Only said the road and we go on with the road. Third form, me say me try a thing. And you know it formed up to be a fire thing. Now up on stage with chronic say I sing. Yeah, see me hard, did you soon get the higher ring? Like hello brother, say I had to shot ya. Saw your poster, spectacular photo. Keep it burning, yes, that's the motto. If me the butter pass through your shot, you can't ball in a life, man. Me have to thank God for the journey, the earnings, I just for the plus. Yeah. And gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast to the friends that take off every load. One time they sit down in a class and we poured dead. Only said the road and we go on with it, go on with it. That's how our blessings upon me. And send me to tell them a story. That's how our blessings upon me. And that's how I made to give him the glory. I'm in delighted. Jah knows my passion ignited. Got the music get me excited. I'm coming like a potion. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings, and that's for the plus. Yeah. And gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast to the friends that take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we poured dead. Only said the road and we go on with the road. First thing in the morning, when I wake up, thank God for life. Look in the mirror, say yes, I'm the best, 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 best. Way too blessed, 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 blessed. Yes, I'm the best, 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 best. Way too blessed, 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 blessed. No matter where you try, you can never be me, never I. Keep petting from the side, let me take this thing well, worldwide, wide. Never had to pretend, 10. I'm a part-time too, that's a 10. Never ever beg friend. If they're not with me no worry about them. Whoa, blind man can see it. Whoa, so every day I repeat it, I say, first thing in the morning, when I wake up, thank God for life. Look in the mirror, say yes, I'm the best, 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 best. Way too blessed, 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 blessed. Yes, I'm the best, 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 best. Way too blessed, 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 blessed.
450 on the necklace. I know you like it rough, like it reckless. The way you lick it up, you gon' make me fall in love, baby. You gon' make it hard for the next. I'm the best. That's your boyfriend, I ain't impressed. Baby, when your body pop the top off the chest, work that body, throw your on the bed. Baby, what's the message in the bottle?
The station with the artist station with the artist music.
Way too blast.
On the news, me in my prime, on the crime with the dollar sign, money for my mind. Something on the time for spend. I'm a style, put me on the map, me up on the top. I'm in name, coffee, swag a lot. Them a tapping on the time for them. Yes, I'm wake up, yeah. Money make and I make up. Me go straight for the paper, yeah. Tell you wait, see you later. Mr. Fuck, everybody look like what? Mr. First and say how you look like that. But up every cranny, every nook. I'm a stick of every chicken out the book. Everything we do, give thanks. Tell them how we do. Load the L, take the W. One thing they out there for you. And it now come if you not go. Everything we do, give thanks. Tell them how we do. Load the L, take the W. One thing they out there for you. And it now come if you not go. On the news, me in my prime, on the crime with the dollar sign, money for my mind. So on the time. I'ma start put me on the map, with up on the top. I'm in name, coffee, swag a lot. Them money on the time. Everything is how they call plush. The baby got a body that's why I won't touch. Pull it, I let her ride it, girl, you know I want lust. I got it inside it, I won't stop, I'm in a rush. I eat that like lunch, we keep it on hush. Box you up in truck, I love to see you blush. You shopping when you land, so you bought a pot of clutch. We got a lot of bucks, catch longer than a bus. With some warriors, looking at your heart through the cardio. And I said the top of the aria. She got love, Rastafaria. Me my walk one at the party, we don't feel none, we the hardest, spinning cash for fun, get us all the pass. She won't go to wanna get the real. Dip in her back and she pull out the pump. My baby ever got the high grade. Spliff in her mouth. Age up the chalice and say, shall we blaze hell, yeah. Out of many, she alone get the crown. Chronic from Spanish Town. Don't think I'm feeling at this party. Everyone got so much things to say. Right now, me just a one with the vibes and I watch nobody. Cause I'm only here to spend the night with you anyway. I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad vibes disappear. She kick off the high heels, no, she not free nobody. Happy times and I got no sad nights when I'm with my baby,
yeah. Yes. Good evening, viewers and listeners. We are back and here again. And we want to talk transportation, man. Lots of activities taking place in the transportation sector right now. The tickets, outstanding tickets, are supposed to be paid up by the end of this month. And the amendments to the road traffic law, as you know, will take effect next month. We have with us one of the main players, one of the leading representative of the transport sector, Mr. Edgerton Newman, with us. Mr. Newman, good evening.
Good evening, my brother, Desmond.
Yes.
Thank you for having me back on Rebel Radio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I'm watching. I'm watching your movements and your organization movements, and listening to all the comments. But for example, I know that there was a meeting. There was a meeting last week where your legal advisors were supposed to put you on road, so to speak, by telling
Yes.
you what is supposed to be, what are some of the steps, what are some of the remedies available for the transport operators. What came out of that meeting? You wish to tell our listeners?
Thank you very much, Desmond. We have had over the past week or week and a half
Yes.
several meetings with legal counsel, looking at where is our standing, where we are in terms of representation to address the number of issues affecting us in the sector.
Yes.
And of course, we pointed to, of course, the outstanding tickets and its payment. Now, let me just put it this way. After 61 days of consultation, agitation, within the space, looking at payments of outstanding tickets, I think I would call it a 50-50 win, lose, and draw in the sector. Because one must, first of all, understand that 60% of these tickets were given wrongly. 40% we received them because of our own misbehavior within the sector. I put it bluntly as that, because sometimes we get tickets for doing the wrong thing, and sometimes the state push the tickets on us, and we have no choice but to take them. Our council advised us to allow our operators to seek representation in the payments of these tickets, because most of them were given wrongly. And so we advise our members since the past 24 hours to go to court. If you believe you have received the tickets justly, pay the tickets. And in most cases, you can ask for some form of a payment plan. When a person holds money and go to court, you say to the judge, you have $100,000, you have 50 to pay 50 and get asked for time. I think judges are reasonable and will do that for us. For those who think you did not get fairly, we ask them to allow them to be adjudicated in court, and our operators should plea not guilty on them and allow the court to adjudicate the matter. And so we are prepared now to provide representation for those operators who think they have received the tickets unwarrantedly, especially in the case where you receive the tickets, you pay for them, and they return as unpaid. We are strong, very, very strong on that. And I think they've listened and they've heard, and we're prepared to work with them on that.
So as it stands right now, your advice to your members are, okay, if you believe or if you know that you got tickets which are justified, pay them before the 31st. Those which you think were unjustified, plead not guilty and go to trial.
That's it. That is as clear. You put it much clearer than I do.
Okay.
And I think we will. The team of negotiators in the sector will attend with you upon the courts to ensure that those things, matter go before trial.
Okay. Now, the other issue that you raise is about areas where there are no bus stops. Yes. And there were bus stops were there before. For example, the Constant Spring Road is one such one.
Yes.
And you are also saying that there needs to be more designated parking areas for taxis and public transportation buses. What has been the response to those two requests?
Okay, first of all, when we meet with the cabinet members, at least 4 of them, all were in agreement that the facilities need to be upgraded. I want to say upgraded, replaced or put in place for us to operate in a fair way. And so let's look at the bus stops first. Those are very, very important to us, especially those on Constant Spring Road, Hagley Park Road, and in the Barbican area. Those roads were repaired over the past couple of years, and most of the bus stop has not been replaced. And there's where the police have a field day or have field days with us by watching us coming down, stop where we used to stop and let off passengers, and we get tickets for that. I think Minister Shaw must be commended for standing up for that, but right now we have not seen them replaced. We are saying very strongly that those bus stops need to replace ASAP. Because we don't want to be going back to government in the next 5 years or so, asking for another amnesty.
Yes.
So we are going to agitate strongly for the replacement of those facilities. In addition to that, my brother, is that we have never seen a taxi stop in Jamaica. And that is important. And because taxis are not supposed to stop at bus stops. We are allowed that latitude, but if the police really want to have their way with us, they can ticket us for stopping at bus stops, especially in the KMTR where we have these JUTC buses.
Yes.
Because if two of us stop at a bus stop, JUTC have nowhere to stop.
Yes.
And so we are saying to government, put in place taxi stop. There are so many businesses around the KMTR that can sponsor these taxi stops. You want us area 2 or 3 taxis can stop, let off, and move. Let off and pick up and move, and passengers can know that that's where you should wait for a taxi.
But
these are important.
Tell me something now. On Constant Spring Road and Hagley Park Road, those two roads. Bus stops are there? Bus stops for JUTC buses?
Bus stops are there for JUTC, and when the JUTC bus come to stop, you better move. If you stop, you better move fast because they're coming in the back. Especially one who's JUTC driver who don't like taxi man. And will your taxi man is taking up the passenger, because let me tell you now, some workers at JUTC take the business serious enough and believe a taxi man should not pick up a passenger, right? Because it's their space. Remember, the public transportation space in the KMTR is not for public transportation, but for government transportation, right? And so they take the business seriously, and they will hurt us if we in their space when they want to stop. So we want our own stops to be put in place, and the area to be marked white instead of yellow. And that's not hard for government to do if they have an interest in the public transportation system.
Yes. So they have listened, but they have not moved to implement that.
They have listened.
Yes.
But no action taken up until now. 60 days ago, we as a team, and I must commend the team called itself the Public Passenger Transportation Steering Committee. They met with Minister Shaw 60 days ago. And up until today, not one morsel has been moved in order to put those bus stops in place. And I say to Mr. Shaw, get up, move towards Constant Spring Road, because if they don't put in, I'm going to tell the bus operators to stop where the bus stop is. So if there's no bus stop, sorry for the passengers, because I'm not going to allow the busman to stop where there's no bus stop and get 4, 5, 6, 7 tickets. It makes no sense. So we're going to have some problems there. So the best thing to do is to put in the bus stops.
Yes. Then I know there is also another issue where with wreckers, the public passenger vehicles operators are complaining about the treatment they receive from the wreckers. And there are some reports that some wreckers there are questions raised about the ownership and operations of some of the wreckers.
You just touch on nerves in my head right now when you talk about wrecker. The wrecking service and the treatment we are getting from those companies. Listen, it cannot continue, and I've been saying this for some times now, but it just goes to show that government does not care about the public transport sector. Because for years we've been talking to the Ministry of Transport, our parent ministry, about the service we're getting from wrecker company, to which we believe that the state is involved in bandoolo business with the wrecker companies, right? And the government is afraid, the Ministry of Transport is afraid to tackle the issue. And I must give kudos to former Minister Montague, who came out on a limb by himself to hit hard on the system. But Audley has not made a move to address the problem. And that is a parental problem that must be addressed. A matter of fact, Montague say to the government, to the transport authority and the police that they should not wreck PPV vehicle. They should not take away the tool of trade from the operators.
Yeah.
And the advent of Audley, bring it back.
Okay.
It is unfortunate. And listen, when you take away a man's bus, right, and the record charge you $35,000 from halfway through to Lindus Road, it's a disgrace, it's a wickedness at the highest level.
Yes.
And when you call the record company and said, how much you charge to move my car from or my van from halfway through to Lindus Road, he tell you $8,000 or $12,000 at the highest. But the record company is charging you $35,000, right? Guess what? The management of the record company don't know about it because 1/3 of that money is for the record company. Who gets the 2/3?
Are you serious about that?
Am I serious?
Yeah.
I am dead serious. That is what is happening, and we can bring proof on top of proof to tell you that where it costs a person, and we check it, I mean, my treasurer was involved. When I called the record company, I have a vehicle broken down about a mile out of Spanish Town. I wanted to go to Lake Spend. After they charged a man 45,000, my treasurer 45,000, they are charging me 11,000. I said, man, take off something. They said, give me 10. Where it is?
Whoa.
What if you understand me?
Whoa.
So we have proof to show you what we are in with record companies, and this happens every day. The police call the record. I said to the police in the middle of Christmas, why are you taking the man car in halfway tree? Mr. Newman, we have to take it. I said, no, but I don't want to disturb you on your work. But you don't have to ask the man to get a driver to drive the car. I am here. He said, no. Call the record company, right? The man paid $18,000 for a little car.
Yeah.
That has to go to a police station. It doesn't have to go to the pound, right?
Yes.
Once the driver, the law says, the driver, while in custody, can ask somebody to pick up his car. But these policemen want the record to come because part of the thing is for them.
Whoa. No.
And we are pains to explain this and something. Bring the proof. Yes, we're going to deal with it. Nothing has been done. We are saying to Transport Authority today, 16th day of January, give us a list of approved records and fees. They have one in place, but somebody not using it. Give us. I don't want when everyone complain to Transport Authority say, I want about my refund. No. Once it is $15,000 to wreck a vehicle, and the points are there in terms of from where to where, that is what we should be charged. And not a cent more. But this is how we suffer. Can I continue? I remember the latest one, a matter of fact, one in early December, $57,000.
That's from where to where.
Transport Authority had to pay back the operator his money. And it shouldn't be so. We should be charged a fee that's allowed for us to be charged.
Yes.
Can't continue like this.
But obviously,
so when you hear we talk about demonstration and strike, don't kill us. We know what we're going through.
Yes.
But we are not for demonstration right now. We are for consultation and verbal agitation, because we believe that sometimes when we talk about demonstration, there are some guys who jump on the bandwagon who are not in the public transport sector, create mayhem, and then you, Desmond, and others point finger at us. So we're burning roads and cutting down trees and messing up the environment and all pretty talk, nice talks about the environment, you know. But you don't understand, Desmond, what we are going through in the sector.
Yes.
And people hit me sometimes if I had on my bed because they threaten me and that sort of thing. But we know what we are going through and we have to speak out, eh?
Yes. No, this is what you're telling me now is disgraceful. That sound like that sound as if there's some racketeering going on, man. I mean, with the wrecking business.
You know, you say it's disgraceful, but guess what? Are you alone as a son? The government don't care one tick whether it want to be disgraceful or not. They don't care what it costs us to operate. Right? What today we start renewal period on the 1st of February, the same day the Road Traffic Act is coming into being. You know how much it costs us to prepare our car for renewal? People tell we don't pay taxes and we don't pay this and we don't pay that. They would understand the cost of an arm and a leg to get our car ready for the road. And by the time we finish and get the papers, by the following morning, the car can go on a pound. Because we didn't stop at the right place.
Yes.
Or we do a little turn off. We are going through hell and we don't talk about it. Yes. I think that's why government should write off those tickets completely, start anew come February 1. But no, they have to collect. It's the aim of government to stay in power and collect your dough.
Yes, yes. So, but what is going to be done in order to get redress, to get better treatment from the authorities? What are your plans?
You know, a taxi man told me on Windward Road, maybe close to you this morning, that's because I'm older, why I don't want to take drastic action. You know what I'm saying? You're right. You know, but they are young. They can tell you exactly what they want to see done, because the only tool in our toolkit to get things done is a tool that you don't want, Desmond. But when we do it, we get through with some things. We get attention. At least we start there, right? But it's unfortunate. But this year, as I say to my guys, is a year of action, and we're not going to give up. We're going to represent at the highest level for the 37,000 red plate man and woman who's on the road, to ensure that, one, we provide the best quality service for them, and two, we provide it in the right space. Right, the environment must be right for us to provide those service to our clients.
And now, what is being done now to make the, as we talk about service, to provide better service? For example, why the operators, conductors, and drivers, why they are not in uniform like the JUTC people?
Okay, you know, that's a very good question. And you know, I must say, and I hate to pat myself, when I say myself, pads on the shoulder, because we have put everything in place for training and development of the sector. Everything, all the black and white sign off by government is just to get it started and get the necessary funding in place for it. We have the TPD, Team Jamaica, training people on board, ready to roll. But you talk about uniform, which is important, because that is the first step to see some sort of organized system. And, you know, of course, one of the problems I have with uniforms is that there are about 20 or 25 different colors of uniform. So you might go, I'm not going to say half of you, let's say Spanish Town. You might go to Spanish Town and you see everybody in different color shirt, and you wonder, where's the uniform? We want to see that change to one uniform, but different logos, different templates. The reason for that is that they are in uniform. If you go to St. Thomas, the drivers in St. Thomas are in uniform. But because they're in different colors, blue, gray, yellow, that sort of thing, you don't know they have on uniform. What needs to be looked at by the new managing director, Mr. Simit, is that you have one color per parish or one color across the island, but the logo of the association is on it. That will make it distinct from the other person. If that is done, then you would be saying to me that we're in uniform, because we go in half a tree, you know. I wouldn't say every man. There are some guys who are so unruly, but most guys are in yellow, or in white shirt. But guess what? Some can wear yellow, some can wear blue. because they represent an organization. So again, it looks multicolored. So we have to divine to the public that most of these guys are in uniform.
Yes.
But because it is so many colors, you won't understand that they're in uniform. But we are trying to make things right by, looking at that part in terms of the one color, two colors, or color per parish, as well as providing the training so that guy, when he's in his white shirt, wow, yes, he's in a long sleeve or a short sleeve white shirt and a dark blue pants, navy blue pants or something. That is coming. And I give me 100 days into 2023, and you will see some changes in Hertfordshire. Because that's where you are. If you go to the country, you don't talk about uniform because they are in uniform. If you take a keen look at that.
The final thing I want to ask you is that I saw where the board of the Transport Authority board, they went through a process and select a managing director. And the minister was the minister was opposed to their selection. Now, what has become of that so far?
I must say, first of all, this is a historic event at Transport Authority. I've never seen it in this light before. I've never seen this sort of action where a board appoints a staff and the minister interferes in that appointment. While one would understand that in most cases, the appointment of a managing director always looks or seems political. But in this case, if the board decided that somebody is not is of the quality, they have passed all the rigorous tests, and the minister is saying, listen, although this man failed the test, give him the job. I've never seen this before. No system that I've ever operated. And I consider it unfortunate, but I think it's close to be over now. I don't hear much over the past few days, and therefore I think the board got through in terms of the appointment of Ralston Smith, a man who is coming from the belly of the public transport sector, rise to the ladder, and as where he is now, he's at the right place to carry on the transformation work of the Transport Authority started by Willard Hilton.
Okay. Mr. Newton, thank you very much for being with us on Rebel Radio. And as usual, you know that we are open for your voice and the voice of your organization. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Always, Rebel Radio.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
It was Mr. Edgerton Newman, president of TODS. And he's one of the leading player in the public transportation sector. Well, I've come to the end of our live programs for today. But, we continue to provide you with good music. And we'll be back on here on Wednesday, when we will have another list of programs for you. So stay tuned to Rebel Radio. And this year is our year. We have lots of new programs that we will be bringing on here. We are going to create some changes for our listeners and viewers. Stay tuned to Rebel Radio. I'm Desmond Richards. Good afternoon.
Your father, your aunt, and your sister, yes, and your brother. Me say family. Miss Rona pray for me. No evil us, nor envious cannot devour me. Stay far from poverty, Jah rule me destiny. Shane Brown and popcorn and berries, you know we blessed for real. All I know is God is all. Take your life, it's you wanna know. Evil people will kill your soul. All I know, That is all. Protect your life, it's your one and only. Evil people will kill us slowly. Your life is precious, protect it is one. Three islands, yeah, we have to give thanks, yeah. When you wake up, you have to give thanks, yeah. And before you sleep, yeah, you have to give thanks, yeah. Jah guide way, out on the highway. Love to see them living in love like highway. When all is said and done, only one life we gotta live, yes. All I know is God is holy. Protect your life, it's your one and only. Evil people will kill us slowly. All I know is God is holy. Protect your life, it's your one and only. Evil people will kill us slowly. All I know is God is holy. Protect your life, it's your one and only. Evil people will kill you. No come here fi bring moderation. We come here fi sing to the nation. Tell me why you make Satan corrupt your heart. Tomorrow when we